Well, how do you see us wrapping this week up?
Basically, I think we'll still end on a high note, but not with that much movement upwards. It will be a bit high, but not that much. But we'll end the week in the positive.
Well, we've got foreign interest still there. Local interest, though, in the market is slowly picking up as well. I mean, do you see us getting closer to a point where we may well see this shift from the recent trend where it's only been foreign investors that have managed to prop the NSE up?
You will need to know that around this time, actually, we have more of local activity. Historically, if you go back, because the locals normally go in for the capital appreciation during announcement of results and any dividends that they might find. Whereas foreigners at this point in time pull back and do some analysis on the market and on the counters that have announced results and now start cherry picking the ones that they would want to move into. So we are in a period where locals will have more dominance in the market. But as the reporting season comes to an end, again, they'll retreat back to their cocoons as they try to wait for news or events that can give them hope that there is some upward movement in the market.
In the meantime, demutualization of the NSE is back on the table. After demutualization, we're seeing 20 current members holding then an 80% shareholding. 10% will go to Investors Compensation Fund and the rest to government. I mean, what have you made of this, and do you really see this coming to the fore this time round?
Yes, I think it will, because the government is now involved. Ridiculous enough that they've gotten a 10% stake. We would like to see a demutualization where the government doesn't have a stake, and any investor wants to actually invest in the Nairobi Stock Exchange can actually invest and have no heavy hand of the government in the process. There will be a public company traded through with the public people, and so that we can remove some of the monopoly and insider trading that has been in the Nairobi Stock Exchange, the manipulations and stuff like that. But I think this time it will actually be demutualized. I think that's the first step, and we are grateful.
Well, that is the first step. In the meantime, there is this provision that's been made where in 2 years' time we'll see the NSE itself go through an IPO, and the agreement is that the current members will sell and retain only about 40%. That's post demutualization. I mean, what do you anticipate that uptake to be like on that front?
2 years from now is a bit far-fetched. Let's see how the market develops. It's still a very young market compared to the other developed markets. Let's see how the market will develop and whether investor education is going to be of key if anything is going to take place. Because investors, I don't think most of them actually understand what demutualization is, whether they can actually invest in the NSE. For them, it's a big marketplace where you can go buy shares. So how do you buy a market? So a lot of investor education needs to be done before we can actually predict how the uptake will be.
And we know that investor education over in Kenya has been a point, the need for it has been a point that has been overly emphasized on this show. In the meantime, housing finance was out with numbers adding to Standard Chartered's good results. The company posting a 73% jump in pre-tax profit. The market had to have been impressed with those numbers.
Yes, actually it was, but the results came in like 10 minutes to just before the close of trading yesterday, and it was in the red for most part of the day, but as soon as we received those results, it actually turned the corner and it went into the positive. The results were good, and at least they seem like they have turned around the corner. They once were about to be shut down by the central bank a couple of years ago, 5 years ago, and clearly, as you can see, even Standard Chartered had also the same problem. It was about to collapse a couple of years ago, and the banks that are about to collapse now seem like the ones that are doing well. So we also expect National Bank to do a bit well, because I think they've learned their lesson.